What if everything you were told about your potential and number was wrong? For a long time, the world believed that your brain power was handed to you at birth, like your height or the color of your eyes. You got what you got, and by the time you hit 25, the wet cement of your brain had hardened. But modern neuroscience has just proven that the cement never actually sets. We now know about neuroplasticity. This is the brain's incredible ability to physically grow, reorganize, and strengthen its connections based on how you use it. Think about the most naturally brilliant people in history. We call them geniuses. But if you look closer, they weren't born with superbrains. They built them. Today, it's how we're going to look at the 5 specific habits that upgrade your cognitive hardware. These aren't just study tips. They are the architectural tools used by history's greatest minds to increase their IQ, long before we had a name for it. Habit 1. The power of strategic boredom. Most people today are terrified of being bored. The second there's a lull in the day, we reach for our phones, we consume a constant stream of input, social media, news, music, but high-level intelligence requires the exact opposite, output without input. When you stop feeding your brain external data, it switches into what scientists call the default mode network. This is when your brain starts connecting dot A from a book you read last week to dot B from a problem you're facing today. History's greatest thinkers, like Nikola Tesla, didn't find their best ideas while busy. They found them in silence. Tesla used to sit in a darkened room and visualize his inventions so clearly that he could see them spinning in 3D. Give yourself 15 minutes of digital fasting every day. No phone, no music, no talking. Just sit with your thoughts or go for a walk. At first, your brain will scream for a distraction. Let it scream. That's the sound of your focus muscles getting stronger. Habit 2. First principles thinking. Most people think by analogy. They do things a certain way because that's how it's always been done. This is mentally cheap and doesn't require much IQ. The smartest people use first principles thinking. This means breaking a problem down to its most basic, fundamental truths and building back up from there. Aristotle used this, Elon Musk uses this. Instead of saying, electric car batteries are too expensive, a first principles thinker asks, what are the raw materials of a battery? Cobalt, nickel, aluminum? What do those cost on the commodities market? By breaking reality down into its smallest parts, you train your brain to see opportunities that others miss. Next time you have a problem, ask why. 5 times. Strip away the assumptions until you hit a fact that cannot be broken down any further. That is where true intelligence begins. Habit 3. The Feynman Technique. Teaching to learn. There's a huge difference between knowing the name of something and understanding something. Richard Feynman, a Nobel Prize-winning physicist, was known as the Great Explainer. His secret? He believed that if you couldn't explain a concept to a 6-year-old, you didn't actually understand it. When you try to simplify a complex idea, your brain has to work overtime to identify gaps in your logic. It forces you to reorganize your mental filing cabinet. This creates fluid intelligence, the ability to use logic in new situations. After you read an article or watch an educational video, grab a blank piece of paper, write the name of the concept at the top, and try to explain it in the simplest language possible. If you get stuck or start using big words to hide your confusion, go back and relearn that specific part. Habit 4. Combinatorial play. Einstein didn't come up with the theory of relativity by just doing math. He called his process combinatorial play. He would play the violin when he was stuck on a physics problem. He understood that intelligence isn't about being a specialist in one tiny box. It's about the lattice work of ideas. When you take a concept from music and apply it to math, or take a concept from biology and apply it to business, your brain creates new neural pathways. This is why polymaths, people who study many different subjects, often seem so much smarter. They have more tools in their mental toolkit. Read one thing every week that has absolutely nothing to do with your job or your hobbies. If you're a programmer, read about Roman history. If you're an artist, read about quantum mechanics. Watch how your brain starts making weird but brilliant connections. Habit 5. Seeking intellectual friction. Our brains are naturally lazy. We like to hang out with people who agree with us and read things that confirm what we already believe. This is called confirmation bias, and it makes your brain soft. High IQ individuals actively look for people who disagree with them. They seek out intellectual friction. Charles Darwin was famous for this. Whenever he encountered an observation that contradicted his theories, he made a note of it within 30 minutes. He knew that his brain would naturally try to forget the evidence that proved him wrong. By forcing himself to face the friction, he sharpened his reasoning to a razor's edge. Once a day, read an opinion that you disagree with. Don't read it to get angry. Read it to understand the logic behind it. This trains your prefrontal cortex to choose logic over emotion. Overall summary of this video is that increasing your intelligence isn't about a life hack or a magic pill. It's about how you spend your in-between moments. It's choosing the struggle over the easy answer. It's choosing curiosity over certainty. If you commit to these habits, boredom, first principles, teaching, broad learning, and friction, your brain will change. It has no choice. The smartest version of you is already in there. You just have to build the habits to let it out. Enjoying the content? Hit subscribe to join the community. Drop a comment below. I love hearing from you guys. If you got something out of this, a like and a share really helps the channel out. Thanks for the support, and I'll catch you next time.